international instruments that focus on humanity has two principal guiding generic words. They are inclusion and respect. Look at these three illustrative examples. The first sentence of Section 1 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights reads, I quote, all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. End of quote. The preamble of the Constitution of the United States of America reads, that's the preamble, I quote, we, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Now, the preamble of the Constitution of Cameroon, I'm going to take just the first part of it as an extract. I quote, we, the people of Cameroon, proud of our linguistic and cultural identity, an enriching feature of our national identity, but profoundly aware of the imperative need to further consolidate our unity, solemnly declare that we constitute one and the same nation, bound by the same destiny, and assert our firm determination to build the Cameroonian fatherland on the basis of the ideals of fraternity, justice, and progress. The whistling, that's end of quote there, is just an extract. The whistling sounds of hate speech and xenophobia polluting the air as the October 12 presidential poll fast approaches go contrary to the humanity embodiment words of inclusion and mutual respect. Hate speech and xenophobia are extreme forms of intolerance that contribute to hate crime. We must not allow hate speech and xenophobia to prosper. Perpetrators must be sanctioned. This is Press Hour, and I am Killian Dandifon in Yaoundé. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are broadcasting live from Studio 4 of the CRTV Production Center here in Balatu in Yaoundé. And our topic of the day is October 12 presidential poll. How can hate speech and xenophobia be controlled? If you like, we're just even going to ask, can it be controlled where we are? And to talk about this topic, we've invited people who are specialists as media men and as civic society organizations. Welcome Desmond Gala, Dr. Desmond Gala, who is the National Coordinator of Civic Watch. You're welcome, Dr. Desmond.
Thank you, Killian. Good afternoon to televiewers and good afternoon to fans of Press Hour. I'm delighted to be here again to share perspectives on how we can reverse the trends of rising hate, most especially on the eve of elections. But I'm also very concerned that seemingly it seems as if the more we've learned to fight against hate speech,
more present it is.
The more people in authority, be it social, political, and economic with power, are also deciding we will not actually rest. So we're giving them, we will be giving them a tough time doing that on the field. So it's going to be an interesting exchange with us.
Very interesting. I know you don't fight hate speech seasonally, you fight it continuously. I know you for that.
And Killian, I would say we don't fight hate speech, we mitigate hate speech. These are jargons. We don't use a hard force. We preach for change of mindset because this is exactly what we need.
And when the minds don't change,
we are adapting.
You use the law to fight them.
Exactly, and we call on policy to take action. And we will be calling on them live on this program.
Thank you so much. Moa Patrick is a desk editor in the Guardian Post newspaper. Patrick, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Killian, and it's always a pleasure to be part of this program, even though sometimes it becomes really difficult having access here. For example, today it wasn't really easy getting access to the studios of CRTV, given the numerous roadblocks that we find in town.
Yes, we have roadblocks in town in many areas, but we have access to this place. Fortunately, you had access. Now, before I introduce the two other guests, let me talk about something that Dr. Desmond Ngala talked about. Hate speech, as we said in our introduction, is an extreme form of intolerance, and that contributes to hate crime. Have you had instances of hate crime that generate from hate speech?
In Cameroon, yes. We've had not only one, not only two. There are two forms. The first one is we don't see it. People don't always complain and say the things they are supposed to say when it comes to hate speech. The second one is that it's very, very open. It's glaring. We've seen communities and persons attacked, and most of the times on air, we don't want to give we don't want to call communities because it stigmatizes them. But we've seen people who have been attacked because something was said. And I give you an example. When you say somebody who is not from Makerere will not run for political office, and the next morning he's attacked in his home because it's considered that he's not from there. Exactly. These are examples, glaring examples.
Thank you thank you so much. You're going to raise as many as possible so that with Patrick, who says that he's going to address the issues, we should face these issues squarely. Yes, permit me now to introduce the two other panelists. Dr. Matute Minole is a super-scale journalist. He works for CRTV. You're welcome, Mola.
Yes, thank you very much, Killian.
I call you Mola because of the way you are dressed.
Oh, yes, and that is exactly what I am. Thank you very much for having me here.
Yes, Lucas Chefo is the publisher and editor-in-chief of the Reporter newspaper. You're welcome, Lucas.
Thank you very much, Killian. And I say happy Sunday to all our televiewers and especially to fans of Press R. And I hope that we are trying to talk about hate speech. We will not perpetrate it here. We will try to see how we can mitigate it, as Ngala was saying, because it is gaining ground in Cameroon. And this political period seems to be fertile ground for hate speech, because on a daily basis I see how it is being perpetrated by political actors, simply because most of them don't have any political agenda, political program. They are building. They believe in cleavages, regional language and religious cleavages.
But we must not, as a country, allow that to prosper.
Yeah, that's what.
Thank you so much. There are people, you've not seen them on the Press R set. You're going to have them in the course of the program. We have Sir Dumfor, Barrister Neko Hali, who's a peace crusader and a multi-award winner, who will be participating. We expect to have him live from the Littoral region, Douala in particular. We met the National Communication Council President, who's going to tell us, as a competent body, the National Communication Council, how they are fighting hate speech. I know experts will say mitigating hate speech, if I borrow from Dr. Ngala Desmond. They are going to tell us. And we also know one very competent institution that is supposed to hold that as a mantra is the National Commission for the Promotion of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism, that is supposed to promote living together. And hate speech is just the opposite of the concept, the notion of living together. But before we get to that, Yoti Kaleli Songe read the newspapers for Press R. Yoti.
Several development projects on the way in the country were captured and reported by the print media this week. The Northwest region was particularly spotlighted with the commissioning of the Bamenda-Babaji Road. The series of road construction projects launched by the Prime Minister head of government in Bamenda are outlined on various newspaper publications. The Guardian Post captions, PM launches construction on roads in Bamenda, while Municipal Updates talks of an inauguration. The Horizon, for its part, focuses on the urban crossing. Project Cameroon Tribune underscores fall within the presidential plan for the reconstruction and development of the Northwest region. The same story is carried on the week's edition of The Median, The Post, Cameroon Echoes, and Cameroon Insider. The solar energy project, launched in the Far North region, also occupied newspaper columns. Turning over to politics, news on the upcoming presidential election has been and keeps buzzing. One of the main stories as seen in the papers is the opposition consensus. To Maurice Kamto, it is either the opposition unites or misses the golden opportunity. The article begins on the cover page of the Herald Tribune. One would think it were a word to a wise when the Median cues in, announcing that Chiroma has been picked as the opposition candidate, a choice not validated by Bello Buba. Another publication of the same newspaper indicates that the Bello and Chiroma feud is hampering opposition unity. To Newswatch, it is simply a resurrection of the Bello-Chiroma long-standing distrust. Breaking news on his part wonders if an ego-fueled coalition can beat President Paul Biya. For Echo Outlook, it's the appropriate moment to ponder on power returning to the North. Nonetheless, the Horizon reports of the chosen opposition consensus candidate vowing to deliver. The newspaper organ equally streamlines Dr. Chris Homonion's 5 criteria for the opposition consensus candidate. In the midst of the status quo, the Guardian Post comes up with an article presenting Bello Buba as the perfect match for Biya in the upcoming presidential election, at a time when communication experts, especially those in the public media, are charged with covering all candidates in the race fairly. Meantime, political parties have been going all out to galvanize voters. Still in politics, the Guardian Post seizes the opportunity to remind the readership on fighting against hate speech. The opinion column has Barrister Nico Halley's take on hate speech, whilst Protestant churches are pressing for a free and fair election and municipal updates. Other stories in the papers include the security meeting chaired by the Minister of Territorial Administration, the graduation of over 2,200 police constables and inspectors, and the over 15 billion CFA francs disbursed by the government to clear CDC salary arrears.
Thank you so much, Yoti. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Press Hour, and we are broadcasting live from CRTV Studio 4 here at the Production Center, Mbala 2 in Yaoundé. Our topic for today is October 12 presidential poll. How can hate speech and xenophobia be mitigated, be controlled? That's what we have. We just go around the set and try to pick out some instances of hate speech as we go closer to the presidential poll. I don't want to name who is taking the floor first. Any of you can give us 1 or 2 examples that we have noticed of late.
Well, I think that the most recent instance of hate speech that has been demonstrated publicly is the comments that came recently from a senator from the West region, who has actually promised that should the CPDM not win in the Upper Camp division, those who are not originally from that division will have to return to their original places of origin, that is to the regions or divisions from where they come from. Apparently, she has the impression that those who are standing against the victory of the CPDM are people who have infiltrated or who have taken up residence in the Upper Camp who are not originally from that division. And this is really preoccupying because, you know, whether we like it or not, public figures of that nature, a senator, for example, you know, making such utterances in public is quite disturbing because public figures under normal circumstances should be the moral compass of society. That people who should rather lead by example instead of, because you cannot be a senator. You are a senator. Yes, it's true that you are representing a political party, but your influence and impact goes beyond your political party. And so even though they are allowed to be partisan, but when it comes to issues of this nature, initially, at the start of the program, you were citing the preamble of the Constitution and mentioning how the Constitution provides that if you are a Cameroonian, you should be free to live and work anywhere. And so this issue of you are not originally from here, it should not even have a place in our public discussions.
No, not at all.
And so, but the real issue is that from the beginning, Dr. Ngala mentioned the laws in force. But I think that hate speech is striving because how would I want to put it? They are not deterring measures in combating hate speech. It's like we are fighting, or like while we were talking about mitigating, it's like we think that we can just mitigate or reduce the presence of hate language in our society.
Whereas we have to go beyond
through conferences, meetings, sensitization, and so I think that we have sensitized enough. Since the Penal Code was amended in 2019 with the coming of the law to
that would be the
I think that enough has not been done.
Yes.
6 years on,
we
should start seeing punishments. We should be able to name and shame these people in public.
Exactly.
It is part of
that would be part of
the measures of mitigating. Yes, because otherwise we cannot fight hate speech. I'll keep using the word fight because for him, he's trying to be mild because he is an expert in that domain. But I think that is even a matter of combat. We are combating hate speech, and we must
using military language.
From the it's a matter of combat because this thing of trying to pamper those who are propagating hate speech is not working. And I think that we cannot succeed in this fight or in this struggle by just organizing conferences, meetings, sensitizations, and whatever.
Thank you.
Go to a police station and see bail is free, written there, boldly, but in front of that notice that bail is free, we're paying money to release people who have been detained for not just reason. So I think that we have to go beyond sensitization.
I will finish for you because you are an expert. Hate speech, he has identified one instance which is recent. Do you know that the senator in question organized a press conference to clear the air, to come back on? Can we give her credit for recognizing that?
I cannot give her credit, Killian. You cannot impose that on me because even the press conference she didn't. What is expected of that woman to do at this moment is to publicly apologize.
That senator.
Yes. Of that, yes, a woman. Anyway,
no, it's not because she's a woman.
She was not even speaking in her capacity as senator. I don't know why.
Not also as a woman.
No.
When you give as
no,
a
but
woman,
the polemic is unnecessary. If I can refer to her as a woman, a senator, a business person, or whatever,
it's good.
It doesn't change anything. We're talking about the same person. She organized a press conference.
I am a he for she. In he for she, we do not denigrate women.
Anyway,
we are going to get another instance, just the second instance, and we can go ahead. Yes.
Okay. Another instance is this young colleague who came back from the field very bitter. She wanted me to read a script, and the point is that I said, but you have a very interesting script here, but no interviews, and she said, the organizer of the event, another politician, said, vote Angela vraiment. Yes. I think that is so
serious
scandalous.
Enough. Yes.
It's so scandalous.
It's better you call names. It's always good to name and shame.
The young lady was so bitter that I almost ended up not doing even the script. Yes. But I just encourage her to go ahead. I think there are so many instances.
Yes.
There are so many instances, and curiously, coming from very prominent and those who are supposed to lead and show the way.
Yes, and we talked about another instance here last week, still from a very high-profile political figure. We're not going to go back to that because there are just so many. We are talking about these few that came to the public space, but we know on notice. It's a volcano. We are going to get.
I don't think they go on notice. They go. We notice them, but we don't take them seriously. And the issue, what is really paining, is that hate speech is propagated by those who are supposed to combat hate speech.
Of course.
Because you give him the microphone. You give him the microphone. He is up there. You give him a microphone to talk, and he uses that same microphone to propagate and perpetuate hate speech. Because these 2025 presidential elections, I don't know why it is becoming so serious and so difficult for us to understand that most of the politicians are perpetrating hate speech. And I was very, very disappointed when I realized that the commission that is to fight that has been created to preach living together is not doing anything since they declared that 12 candidates are going for the presidential elections. To me, the National Commission for the Promotion of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism, that is supposed to preach living together, was supposed, although Moa says is not longer in consonance with organizing seminars and conferences, but I think when those 12 candidates were validated by the Constitutional Council, the National Commission for the Promotion of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism was supposed to go towards them, give us your focal points for campaigns and the people who are campaigning for you, and we drill them on using proper language and not using hate speech.
Exactly. In preparing this program, we went round, we met those people, the Secretary General of the National Commission for the Promotion of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism. We went to him and he told us that the commission is working. We're going to get to him, but when the time will come for us to ask him what the commission is doing, he will tell us. Probably it will not be enough for you, but just wait. When the time will come, you will know what he's doing. But we also met the president of the National Communication Council, who, you know, hate speech, when people say that it's relayed, it's propagated, it is spread by the mainstream media and social media. We asked the National Communication Council, Mr. Joseph Chibonke Kalabusu, to react. How does he react to such hate speech that is coming from high-profile political figures?
It's rather unfortunate that some of the utterances that are coming from people of very high esteem, personalities in the country, so to speak. But it is understandable when you know that many of them think that there's much more at stake than saying something which will hurt. And sometimes it's not only thinking that way, but trying to use that as a weapon in destroying opponents in the game of politics. But it's an unfortunate situation because it's not by denigrating others that you get more points or you are seen positively. I think that it is something which all of us have to be conscious about, not to talk of those in power and those seeking power. That will not help the country progress, but it will instead play on the spirit of tolerance within our community. And it's when we can tolerate each other that will promote a democratic culture. And so whether you like it or not, there are people with different opinions on the same subject. And so you have to see with each other, even when you differ in opinion, because we want to build a society which is inclusive.
You see, there he is scandalized that is coming. Such hate speech and xenophobia is coming from high-profile people who are supposed to be models. We are told that one of our guests who is going to be live from Douala, Sir Ntumfor, Barrister Nico Hali, who is a peace crusader, a well-known peace crusader, is there. Ntumfor, if you are there as a peace crusader, how do you react to such utterances that come from high-profile personalities, especially from politicians?
Killian, it is disheartening, I would even say very, very embarrassing and frustrating to know and to see that hate speech is escalating. For some months now, I've been asking myself questions. Why must hate speech escalate? Why must it intensify now? Is it that people don't respect the constitution of this nation? Is it that people don't respect the electoral laws? Is it that people don't respect I'm just saying the legal instruments like the Penal Code. The motto of this nation is peace, work, fatherland. Hate speech is destructive. Hate speech is preposterous, unacceptable. It's primitive, satanic. Look at the Constitution. All Cameroonians are brothers and sisters. Why must there be hate speech? Because of elections? Shameful. All those who are perpetrating the hate speech, disseminating it here and there, spilling bad blood here and there should be ashamed of themselves. They should be ashamed of themselves. Before elections, hate speech. During elections, hate speech. After elections, hate speech. We have been preaching peace over the years. Why must we get into hate speech, discrimination, tribalism, nepotism? It is sad. My heart bleeds profusely. Beautiful nation like ours, shredded by some people. It is unfortunate. So it's escalating, it's shameful. I know, I pray that those who are involved in this kind of negative or deviant attitude should stop. I'm pleading that they should stop.
And it's our plea, all of us, that this should stop, because as you say, and Tumfor, Barrister Nico Halley, it is destructive. And we also read that it's one of the worst forms of intolerance that leads to hate crime. Dr. Ngala, this is your domain also. You spend your life getting citizens to behave the right way. How do you react to such, just like Tumfor, Nico Halley?
Thank you, Killian. We are ashamed as a nation that those who are in positions of power are the ones championing hateful content on a daily basis. This is just the tip of an iceberg that we're seeing on the media. A lot is being said that is not even reported. The second thing is we in Cameroon say we have laws, very good laws, no implementation. I just want the state councils to take this up. It's a plea to those who are in positions of power. The Penal Code says it very clear that if you are a media person, an opinion leader, a politician, a youth leader, when you propagate hate speech, there is no room for circumstances to say, no, I did it on mistake. The law says very clear. You don't have room for such circumstances. It's doubled. And so these state councils should take over. The third thing I would say is we are worried also that laws will never, ever eradicate phenomena such as hate speech. It's a slippery slope. We've seen a law in this country on issues of cybersecurity, and it can be flipped from one angle to the other. So it's actually really concerning that we can have someone propagate hate speech and the laws that are existing will not definitely hold them. And the last thing is, have you heard this slang recently? The candidate of the North, the candidate of Anglophones, the candidate of. We are talking reality, things we live in a neighborhood. This is actually likening a candidate to a background, which from the very inception and definition of hate speech, we are saying you try to segregate on another person because of their background. It's not only political, but you are saying it's political, but also ethnic and or ethno-national.
Thank you for underlining that. That's why you are an expert. Yes. You were asking, we also asked the Secretary General of the National Commission for the Promotion of bilingualism and multiculturalism, how is that commission fighting hate speech? This is the first thing we got from him. We're going to get him to answer some of those things, how they're getting the legal instruments to make sure that it's fought. But how is that commission fighting hate speech?
I want to thank you for that question because in order to understand what the National Commission for the Promotion of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism is doing in terms of fighting against hate speech and xenophobia, you need to understand the genesis of the fight in the Commission. You also need to know the different steps and periods that characterize the fight against hate speech in the Commission. After the Commission went around the country to listen to the people, starting with Bamenda in the northwest and Boya in the southwest, the report was sent to the president, and in the report there were issues of hate speech and xenophobia. And subsequent to that report, and in implementation of some of the suggestions and recommendations of that report, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Paul Biya, prescribed to the Commission to engage in a wide campaign against hate speech and xenophobia. That is why in 2019, the Commission engaged in a widespread campaign at national level involving all the 10 regions of the country to fundamentally declare, let me say it in terms of war against hate speech and xenophobia.
Well, anyway, now you know the commission, as we call it, we give reverence to Mr. Peter Mafani-Misonke, who is the president of that commission. But we also asked the question that you have been asking on the set. We took that question to the Secretary General of the National Commission for the Promotion of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism. Despite this fight, this campaign they've been taking, why is hate speech seemingly increasing? Let us listen to what he said.
I don't think so. I don't think that will be a good appraisal of the situation, because as we got the civil society organizations involved in this process, at a certain time we decided to carry out an evaluation, because you don't just mandate people to carry out an activity. At a certain time, you have to go down to the field, verify whether the terms of reference, as agreed upon during the signature of the document binding the two parties, see whether that document has been executed fairly. After 3 years, the Commission carried out an evaluation of the civil society organizations that were doing the work the way it was prescribed in the Memorandum of Understanding. Some were put aside, others were brought in, so that the terms of reference could be specifically respected, to be sure that we are reaching out to the appropriate target populations and using the appropriate technology to reach out to the people in the villages, in the towns, in the subdivisions, in the divisions, in the regions, in family groups, in cultural associations, and you name them. I can say that our evaluation was that we were making substantial progress as far as fight against hate speech is concerned.
Substantial progress is a process. That's what the Secretary General of the National Commission for the Promotion of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism is telling us. he is speaking within the same mindset as Dr. Ngala, who also is a civic watch specialist, the coordinator, the national coordinator for an organization which is called Civic Watch. So, as he's saying, I also listened to the president of the National Communication Council, who said that although we have instances of hate speech this time, there is a reduction. He even qualifies that as a drastic reduction. Yes, Patrick.
Yes, I should start off by saying that I've been reporting the activities of the Banugwazin Commission since its inception. And I should confess that most of the achievements are largely just on paper. I don't blame the commission, because a body or an institution cannot give what they don't have. The commission has not been empowered enough to fight hate speech and all the vices that are persisting in our society. They have not been empowered enough. For now, it's just a consultative body, consultative organ, so to say. The commission doesn't have the policing power to fight hate speech and xenophobia. And for the past 6 years or so, what the commission has been doing is not different from what civil society organizations, NGOs have been doing. It's been largely sensitization, and I think that the time for action is now. You cannot keep sensitizing and you are not getting results, and you continue to sensitize. The Banugwazin Commission is just among several other institutions in this country that have just been created for the purpose of it, not with the intention to actually mitigate the vices that we have in society. And so when the Secretary General of the Commission says that, when the Secretary General says that there has been a drastic drop, I don't know from where it's coming from with this statistic, because on the contrary, every other organization that are rather saying that there is a rising prevalence of hate speech in society.
I just quoted.
And so when you talk about a drastic drop from what percentage to what percentage?
The President of the National Communication Council, Joseph.
Other institutions are rather worried that there's an increase in hate speech and xenophobia. So the Secretary General of the Commission cannot say there's a drastic drop.
I respect your ideas. Do you know why I respect your ideas?
No, but
because some other people
to respect my ideas.
Because some other people think like you. But what I wish that you should also respect is that what he is saying.
No, I'm challenging what he's saying.
What he is saying.
There's no drastic drop in hate speech.
Well, if there's a drop, there is
even no drop.
If there's
a single drop water, there's no drop. When it comes to hate speech, on the contrary.
If there's no drop, just like you have said that they have not done any work.
That's why we're intensifying the fight, because there's no drop.
Just like you have said that they have not done any work, then they have done some work.
I say their achievements are largely on paper.
Okay, now we are going to take two other reactions to that, and then we'll move on. Yes, beginning with Mola, Dr. Matuti Menor.
No, but I want to really help with what Patrick was saying a moment ago. I have not carried out any research, and maybe want to believe.
You are a researcher, so you should make statements.
I have not. Yes, of course.
You should make statements that can be backed up.
Of course, because he was giving some concrete examples, like somebody who has been following up the activities. But naturally,
I have also been reporting for that commission, and what he has said is, and that is an element of.
I've never seen you there. I've never
let's move.
Anyway, let's not go personal.
Let me ask you, how many times have you seen me invite members of the commission to the set?
But you have not been reporting the activities. Don't say that you have been reporting the activities. I've not seen you there.
Okay.
So I believe that generally.
So it's an observation.
Yes, that I believe that there is still a long way to go. And he made a very pertinent point. The second one. We have so many good structures, but their powers are limited. You know, in Nigeria, for example, how do you call the one that fights economic crimes?
Yes,
wonderful. If somebody is informed that maybe this time next year, you might appear
Yes,
in
it will
that.
come
No,
after
no, that one will be in, I mean,
You will
intolerance
shiver.
order. Yes.
Okay. Now. See, this is what I asked the president of National Communication Council. I have 3 of you here are media men. What measures is his council taking to control? Because we know that hate speech, when we get it
media
gets
release.
yes, it's through the media, mainstream media, social media, that will get it to the public. So, what measures is his council taking to mitigate the spread of hate speech?
I think the council has been very proactive in terms of trying to handle hate speech in the mainstream media. And those who have been watching carefully would accept with me that it has reduced drastically. And we are continuing to sensitize and to educate the mainstream media practitioners and owners on the need for sanity in what comes out of their mouths and their different media organs or institutions. And we think that they are increasingly buying the idea from the council. We also are pleased to say that I think that whenever we have such utterances occur, which is mainly from guests on interactive programs, we try to call them to others. Sometimes we write warning letters. Sometimes we move on to sanction. Sometimes we suspend programs because of such utterances which are hurting to our society. Where we have a lot of problem is in the social media, which is free for all. And increasingly, politicians also are turning to the social media to seek votes and seek presence and sell their political programs and so on and so forth. Unfortunately, again, these platforms that people are using are not based in the country, and they are not governed by the rules of our country. So sometimes we find it very difficult to get access there. And even when we have the technology to stop broadcast of some of these hate speech, we cannot, because you must have the permission to be able to get into somebody's domain, to be able to flag or to suspend a video or a write-up. And sometimes when we talk to the platform providers or owners, they pay less attention. But it's interesting to note that those that come through media, the meta platforms, we have succeeded to have some degree of confidence, and we are now working in collaboration with Antique and Meta itself, and also TikTok, to try to minimize hateful content on the social media. One problem which we have is that of mass education. And that's why the council has come up with sports, even online, to be able to reach out to the public as much as we can, and also calling on other stakeholders to join the council in sensitizing the public on the need for sanity in the social media. We are confronted with a situation where each citizen that has a smartphone has become a publisher or a journalist. This phenomenon of citizen journalism. And so, but they don't know the consequence of what they put online. They are excited in sharing, but they don't know the consequence, or sometimes they minimize the consequence. So we are trying to mitigate that by inviting stakeholders to educate the public to be more discriminatory in viewing or watching videos or sharing content online. But I think it's a continuous process that has to be on, and everybody has to put hands on deck.
Yes, it's a continuous process. He is inviting you, the press men and women, to come on board, so that it's a thing for everyone. We have the opportunity to still have our guest who is live, Sir Ntumfo, Barrister Nico Halley, who is watching us and ready to come in again. And we're asking this question probably where, Patrick, you have a point is that when political activities like the presidential election we have here come up, there is a resurgence of hate speech. So let's ask Ntumfo, Barrister Nico Halley, whether this is propagated by misguided individuals as isolated cases, or is a deep-rooted national and maybe international issue. Ntumfo.
Yeah, Killian, your question is very pertinent. Very, very pertinent. Is it that people are not aware of their civic duties? Is it that the greatest commandment in the world, love God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength, and love your brother as yourself, Matthew 22, 37 to 39, has been thrown to the dogs? The golden rule, Killian, the golden rule, Matthew 7:12. Do unto others what you want them to do unto you. It's about love. It's about love. It's all about love. Take away love, you will not have justice. You will not have equity. You will not have transparency, accountability. You will not have integrity, dignity, and honor. You will not have the truth and patriotism. You love each other. You should be each other's keeper. Why all of this? Do you need to bring somebody down in order to rise? Why all this bad blood, insults? An election is a choice. It's a democratic choice of leaders. And democracy that was defined by Abraham Lincoln, government of the people, by the people, for the people, has been ruined. It's no longer, that's why there's hate speech. That's why there's hate speech. Who respects that definition anymore? You get to power, you must get to power by bringing people down. Look at the constitution of the nation. Every Cameroonian has the right to live anywhere in Cameroon. Tribalism ought to be a matter of the past. Favoritism, discrimination, megalomania, narcissism, greed. It's shameful. The Bible is very clear. What will it profit a man if he gains the whole world and forfeits his soul? Position, power, money, wealth, property. But come to think about it. Look, what are the causes of hate speech? Xenophobia and discrimination. The absence of love, the absence of patriotism. Look at the motto of this nation. Peace, work, fatherland. Peace. Good for everybody. Who doesn't like peace? Work. Who should not work? If you don't work, you should not live. You don't deserve to eat. Fatherland. you respect your fatherland. God put you there to respect it. That is what we call patriotism. And of course, this stanza of our anthem, thy welfare will win in toil and love and peace. Talk about love and peace. Do we need hate speech? Anything you get in the world by bringing people down will not last. And the way you mount, you get to power. You get to power by destroying others. That destruction will destroy you. So that is it.
Oh, don't go away yet. We want to ask you a very challenging question as a peace crusader. Please just stay put. We're going to go back to the president of the National Communication Council. You media men here with me. We are the ones who relay the hate speech and xenophobia from those who propagate. I asked the president of National Communication Council, what is he doing to make sure that he doesn't leave the perpetrators through the mainstream and social media to the public? Joseph Chibonken Kalabose.
Yes, the council has, of recent, increased its outings and reaching out to the press. I was in the far north to talk to not only mainstream media practitioners, but also particularly the community radios, where our local languages are used for communication, to bridge the gap between those governing and the governed. And I went to the south specifically to meet community radio owners and those who announcers from the 7 southern regions of the country. And these are measures which the council is putting in place to try to dampen the consequences of hate speech, to educate media practitioners and to urge them to go to publish online and to provide alternative information as well online, so that people who read them and have online content can have treated online content, and that will minimize. We are also talking to politicians, and it will interest you to note that the council, through the assistance of the UN systems, will put in place within the next coming days a task force to be able to monitor and flag serious, or should I call it, dangerous online content. And that will be, besides the monitoring which we do to control content, we now will have a task force. We'll get little young guys who are smart to be able to try to track discussions online, provide alternative information by doing fact checking, and also correcting online content and signaling where possible to the council, so we can get in touch with other state institutions that can help in flagging some of this hateful online content. And we will, during the presidential election from the 27th of September, we will have a continuous session. And as part of the special measures, the council has also asked mainstream media organs, particularly audiovisual organs, to suspend all political programs and interactive programs that can have a political connotation during this period. And in place of that, provide propaganda programs for the political actors, and also news coverage of the event. And that will go just for 2 weeks, from the 27th of September to the 11th of October. And we think that with such measures, we will be able to help use the media to inform Cameroonians about who is doing what and who is proposing what. And that will also help them in making informed choices when they go to the polls on the 12th of October.
Yes, that's a measure that we have learned from you, Mr. President, But let us know, you were asking me, the Penal Code helps the National Commission for the Promotion of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism. And the Secretary General told us that we already have measures to punish hate speech in the Penal Code. Yes, let us hear him.
Code makes provision for the punishment of all those who propagate hate speech and xenophobia. You have Articles 241, you have Articles 2411 that specifically punish all those who propagate hate speech against a tribe, against a race, against a group of people, or against people because of their gender, because of their religion. So the Penal Code makes provision, and the punishment can go up to 2 years imprisonment with a fine of up to 3 million francs CFA. So legally speaking, our Penal Code, which was modified in 2019, justice can follow its course when they are caught in the act of propagating hate speech and xenophobia.
Well, Dr. Ngala and the pressmen who are here, we have a few minutes left, and we still have the guest who is standing live from Douala. And there's this question which you were asking. He's a peace crusader. He has about 200 awards, mostly from peace efforts. So can we say that despite his peace efforts, we don't have results on the ground, he and other people?
Killian, it's not like my peace crusading and the fight against corruption is not paying off. You'll agree with me that I'm into my 35th year in the fight against corruption and also in the crusading of peace. Peace is serenity. Peace is oneness. Peace is love. Peace is harmony. Whether you like it or not, and I thank God Almighty who has equipped me over the years, and some other Cameroonians who love this nation, to be talking peace. Peace is the most precious asset for each nation. Peace is the most precious asset. That's why I'm on it. Nobody can take peace crusading from Nico Halley. So it's not like what I've been doing has not been paying off. I tell you, wherever you find me, whether when I was with the funds, very active at Tumfo, and I'm still, when I was the president of the lawyers in Cameroon, when I did elections in Cameroon and abroad, as the national president of CMF, and to many, many other caps that I have, peace is my mantra. You can't take away peace from me.
Sorry, Tumfo, we cannot listen to you to the end of this, but we understand that you stay. Peace is your mantra. Our time has not permitted us to listen to you to the end. Thank you so much, Sir Tumfo Nico Halley, Peace Crusader, and of course, a multi-pole award winner. Now we're going to go around the table and get your way forward and conclude this program, beginning with Teneng Lucas Chefo.
Killian, I want to get to something. I want to go back to the National Commission for the Promotion of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism. I think they ought to have had, till now, they ought to have had a glossary of words that are considered hate speech.
I have it. I was given. I will share with you.
I've not seen it.
Yes,
They're
I have
supposed
it.
to have a glossary.
Patrick, I have it. I will share with you also. Yes, let us go around.
Yes, and
Mola.
then the way
Mola, we don't have time.
Yeah,
that will be your way forward.
Okay.
Mola Matute Munyole.
Now we're talking about elections in just a couple of weeks, and we know we are addressing ourselves to particularly politicians, authorities, journalists, and the social media actors. I think that my advice is that we should keep focus. I mean, for our colleagues, journalists who are reporting on
the elections.
Yes,
thank you so
keep
much.
Keep focus on governance and accountability. Get to the key issues.
Thank you so much.
I will just repeat myself again and again that these institutions, especially the public institutions that are fighting hate speech and xenophobia and related vices, they need to be empowered.
Okay.
With the political will, the policing power to be able to achieve, results. Because if we have had this institution,
they should achieve results.
Yes.
Because it will take us.
And
to
then
the
second point is
Dr. Ngala, please, Desmond. Thank you.
Finally, why were we invited to this program?
Yes,
We've just been spectators all along.
The way forward.
We should go beyond speeches. I have the impression that public authorities, when I say public, I mean everyone, the public, listeners, run to associations to do mitigation efforts on hate speech, but go behind and do the other thing. The second thing is
that's hypocrisy. Will not go to the second thing.
Naming and shaming.
We don't have time.
Also, the laws should be put in place. The laws in place should be implemented.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Patrick, I'm sorry if you did not have as much time.
I did not even have any time.
We are already into the time of another program. Just to inform our viewers that this is the last press hour before the election. We'll see when we come back after the election. We are so happy that you have been with us. This program is ours inclusive. Thank you so much for watching.